Hey y'all, Bill Quirk with the Defensive Training Group and Shoot GTR. Out here to do a quick video talking about something that I personally have been having to deal with recently, and I'll get into what I mean by that in a second. But the topic of today's video is going to be lead exposure safety. So as most of you probably know, and if you don't, this will be a good education for you, when you shoot, a lot of the components of the ammunition that you're shooting are lead based. The projectile, the bullet itself, is frequently of a lead core. And the primer has lead particulate in it. So when you discharge that round, there is a cloud of vaporized lead from the projectile as it is pushed out of the barrel and from the explosion of the primer. So there's all this lead particulate matter that gets up in the air, and that's going to get on your clothes, it's going to get on your skin, and over time it can build up in your body and it can cause health issues. So everyone's been through orientation, and this is one of the last slides in orientation where we talk about this, and especially for women that are pregnant or looking to become pregnant, you should speak to your doctor before you come out and shoot. But today I just wanted to talk about a couple of different things in a more general sense, things you can do to try and keep yourself safe. So first of all, if you're a recreational shooter, you don't shoot a whole lot, probably not something to worry about a whole lot. To put this in terms, I have been doing this on a fairly heavy level, a lot of shooting, a lot of rounds down range for 25 years at this point. And it's only been in the past year or so that I've started checking my lead. My doctor said, let's go ahead and start doing a lead screen when we do your panels for your physicals and whatnot. And so I started looking at these numbers. Now, understand, I am not a doctor. I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm giving you what's personally been my case and what I've worked with. So right off the bat, I couldn't even tell you what the measurement is. I'm going to give you some numbers that I looked up online, but I don't even know what the measurement is. It's measuring the amount of lead in your body. So 3.5 of whatever this measurement is and below is considered to be good. That's good safe. 10 and below is normal. So if you're within that range, you're okay. And then when you get to above 80, so there's a big gulf between 10 and 80, above 80 is considered dangerous. So my first test, which was about a little less than a year ago, I came out at I believe it was a 9.3. My second test 3 months later, which I still kind of think was a fluke, was a 13.7. And but sitting down with my doctor, he was concerned about that, obviously, and I started doing some of the things I'm about to talk about to try and reduce my exposure and to facilitate getting some of this out of my system, what was already in my system, to get rid of it. And I dropped to a 9.7, but then I really kicked into high gear in some of these strategies that I'm going to discuss. And my last test, I dropped down to a 3.4. So they're obviously working. So what are the things that you can do? First thing that we want to do is not eat or drink if we can avoid it, or use any kind of nicotine products or anything when we're on the range. If we're eating, we've got this stuff on our hands, and if we're putting things in our mouth, obviously that's introducing these lead particulates into your system directly. Drinking can be the same thing. I don't want an open cup out here. If I've got something with a screw top or a secure lid, that's okay. That's within acceptable parameters. But I don't want anything that's open where the stuff's going to actually get in there and mix with the beverage. Nicotine, be very mindful of that. It's a range policy that we don't want you smoking out here for litter reasons and whatnot. But also, nicotine is a vasodilator. It expands, it increases the absorption of these things into your body, into your bloodstream. So that's not going to be a good thing. So if you're out here doing tobacco, smoking, whatever, that is going to increase the body's ability to absorb these this lead into your system, and that's something we want to avoid. When you're out here shooting, try to avoid touching your face. So one of the things that I've taught myself to do in the past 6 months is not stroke the beard as much, which does make me look a little bit less wizardly, but it is cleaner. I'm not touching my face, and so I'm not putting stuff onto my face after I've been picking up brass and that type of thing. Another thing is when I get done, and I do it more frequently now, so every time I go up to the pro shop, I'll try and wash my hands. So you'll notice in the foyer outside of the pro shop, we have a sink there, and we have 2 soap dispensers. The one on the left is a special soap that we stock for you, the members. It's called D-Lead, and it is specifically designed to remove this particulate matter from your skin. So wash your hands thoroughly using the soap in cold water. You don't want hot water. You don't want to open the pores up. You want cold water to close the pores down. Wash your hands thoroughly before you go home, before you go eat, all that kind of stuff. You can also get, and I've got them here, I carry some in my range bag, these wipes that we sell in the shop that are D-lead wipes. It's the same manufacturer, and these are just disposable wipes that will do much the same thing. So you can carry these in your range bag, use them to wipe you down, wipe your gear down and whatnot to get that stuff off of there. When you leave the range and go home, be aware that you're going to have these particulates on your clothes, on the other parts of your skin and whatnot, on your shoes. You've been walking around in the range, walking around in the concrete, so it's going to be on your shoes as well. So when you get home, make sure you wash those clothes. We don't really want to wear those same clothes again and again because they do have that lead on them. And something else that I've started doing is I vacuum all of the carpet in the house once a week because I do track that particulate in, and so I want to go ahead and vacuum it up. Just makes it cleaner. That way my dog's not walking in it, my kids aren't rolling around in it, that kind of thing. Just trying to be mindful to do everything I can to mitigate, to minimize my exposure to these things. One last thing you can think about is the ammunition that you shoot. So lots of different types of ammunition, and again, if you're a recreational casual shooter, this is probably not a huge deal. Washing your hands, washing your clothes, vacuuming, that's going to be sufficient. But with the volume that I shoot and the regularity that I shoot, one of the things that I've started doing is using a different type of ammunition. And this is something that we stock in the shop. This is Federal Syntech, and why this is an important addition to my strategy is it's a lead-free primer. So I'm not dealing with that particulate lead every time I fire a shot getting up in the air, and when I'm picking up the brass, I don't have those lead particulates from the primer that I have to contend with. So this is something else. This is part of my strategy, and I want to emphasize that, again, this is not medical advice. This is what worked for me. But from my understanding, from my research, lead will not naturally come out of your body. And there's no medicine that you can take to remove the lead from your body. So what you have to do is take something that the lead will attach to that you can then flush out. So I've started taking, I've already took vitamin C, been taking that for years. Zinc, calcium, iron are some other supplements that I now take. And again, my results have been good, but I'm not sure exactly which of these things. I think it was a totality, all these different strategies that I implemented at about the same time. The overall results have been good, and those supplements don't hurt you, at least not in my experience. Your mileage may vary. Again, I'm not a doctor, but those are some of the things that I did. Last point of consideration is environmental. Like I said, I did a lot of different things. Stopped touching my face, washing my hands more often, the different ammunition, the supplements, all these different things I implemented around the same time. And at the same time, this was going into fall, and obviously fall, winter, and spring out here, it's not as hot, so I'm not perspiring, my pores are not as open, and that certainly factored into this to some degree. I'm not really sure how much. We'll see if it pops back up as we approach the summer, if my numbers go back up a little bit. But bottom line is there are various things you can do to keep yourself safe. So if you are a regular shooter, you shoot high volume, you're a competitor, these are things to think about. Washing your hands, not eating, not using the tobacco products, trying not to touch your face, washing your clothes, vacuuming, the different types of ammunition, the D-lead wipes, the different supplements that I talked about, and of course the environmental stuff you can't really control. But I hope this was informative. I hope this was educational. It's my experience, so your mileage may vary. But as always, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Give us a like, and you all stay safe.